ॐ भूर्भुवस्वहं तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्।
So namaste everyone. Today my guest is Swami Nityananda Giri. So namaste Swamiji.
Namaste.
So Swami Nityananda, let me introduce my guest. He is a Kriya Yoga master in a Sri Yukteswar tradition and astrologer, and of course, as usually, my questions based on his wonderful, very useful. I wish to emphasize not just wonderful, but very useful in the practical book. And the title goes like Kriya Yoga, the Science of Life Force. It's available in internet, so you can just purchase it in internet as well. And so let me open something like first chapter. And the question is about state beyond thoughts. Well, actually, it's a very famous idea in all kinds of meditation, like Kriya Yoga meditation, Vipassana meditation, even all kinds of modern esoteric traditions. They speak about state of mind, state of consciousness, intellect, whatever beyond thoughts. But at the same time, of course, I have a bunch of questions regarding this. First of all, how to achieve this? And then, very common question, how can we, stay in society without thoughts? Or is it proper to say that we have, state which is beyond thoughts in the meditation, then we go to the office, and then, thoughts come back. So can you kindly explain this beyond thoughts, how to survive?
We have many thoughts. And we are always with thoughts. The nature of mind is that it cannot sustain without an object. That means mind has an object. And when mind roaming with that object, that becomes a thought. So we have many. And it is jumping from one to other, then the third, then the fourth, then the fifth. The process is always going on. And in this process, we are not holding to one. We will come to the beyond the thought again later on. Now, suppose my mind is here, so many things. My purpose is to go beyond all the things. Nature of the mind is that it cannot remain without an object. Taking all these into consideration, how we will do that? First, fix the mind with one object. Now, if you fix the mind with one object, then mind is deprived of all other objects. That is, in yoga, we call it dharana, concentration practice. If you practice concentration means you are holding your mind to one object. That object can be anything. It depends upon the technique. What technique you are following, what type of meditation you are following. So you fix on one object. Dharana, that is the sixth limb of the yoga. So concentration. Now when you have already fixed, means there is a continuous process of fixing. Your mind is not flickering. No other object is ever introducing, is trying to introduce but not possible. You are only with that object. That becomes dhyana. Meditation. Means you are on that object. So in that process of meditation, there are three things in your mind. You say you are holding one thing, but there are actually three things. Means you still exist as an meditator, dhyata, the object of your meditation, dheya, and the process of meditation, dhyana. Three things are there. That means Though you are saying that in your mind there is only one vritti, that is the object of your meditation, but actually it is three vritti. Your idea of yourself, the process of the action that I am meditating, and the object of meditation. Now with these three things, it is meditation, it is not samadhi. Now when it will go into one, means these three will become one. Here only the object of meditation will remain. That means your idea of your existence will merge with the object of meditation. And the process itself will be also merged with the object of meditation. Then it will become samadhi. Means, till you are with one thing. Now from three things you are coming to one thing. So that is not a thoughtless state. This is the first step of samadhi, that is called savitarka samadhi. So in this way there are 7 steps. Once you cross the 6 steps, it will take a longer time to explain all these things. Now in savitarka samadhi, it is a practice of samadhi. It is not the goal samadhi that you are aiming for. But still you are with one object. Since that is a gross object, that is called savitarka. Vitarka means when you are with an object, a gross object. But even with that object, what is that object? That object is again 3 things. Means it has a name, it has a meaning, and it has a knowledge. Say for example, sun. When I say sun, you are certainly not understanding moon. So it is a meaning. And it is a knowledge system that sun is the nucleus of our solar system. It is in a gaseous state. There is nuclear fissions and fusions going on. So many things. So means you are in one object, means actually you are with the 3 things. Again, still there is 3 vrittis: name, meaning, and knowledge. So when these 3 become one, that means you are only with the meaning. That becomes the nirvitarka. That is the second samadhi. Still that is a practice of samadhi, not the final purpose that we are aiming for. Then in the same process, if you continue, means it needs long practice and long sit. It is not very easily attainable. It needs hard work. Then that gross object itself will automatically go. Any gross object is what? There are only 5 subjects. That is sound, sensation, vision, taste, smell. So in your mind, automatically in the process, the gross object will go and there will be a subtle object. Maybe there may be a sound, not the external sound, a sound coming with it, another. Or maybe just light, internal light. Maybe outside it is dark, but you are in light, inside you are in light. Or there may be some sensation, vibration, or maybe a smell or a taste. So now you meditate one of these subtle objects. It is again a meditation. Now when with this subtle object, again there are 3 things: a meditator, meditation, and a object of meditation. When it becomes one, means only a subtle object remains. Sound means only sound. Light means only light. Eye feeling is not there. Process is already finished. Then it becomes savichara samadhi.
So can I just ask the question? You're always mentioning object of meditation, and I feel that quite many people are confused about it. And for example, some people say that according to Patanjali, maybe, let me ask you, any kind of meditation can be used. For example, I have a mobile in my cell phone, and if I meditate on my cell phone, or for example, I have other kind of object, which is, okay, a picture of Mahadar Babaji, or maybe it's Ajna Chakra and the light of Ajna Chakra. What about proper object? Because it's like, looks like it's a different result may come out.
Any object you take, a portrait of Babaji is just gross object. A sun or a moon is a gross object. A candlelight is a gross object. Your cell phone is a gross object. Your breath is a gross object. Yeah? So now, gross object will lead to Savitarka Samadhi. Savitarka Samadhi will lead to Nirvitarka Samadhi, as I explained. Now, then automatically a subtle object will come out of these five. Now you are meditating with a subtle object. So wherever you start, you can start with an apple or a flower, but end point is that when you come to Savichara, you are one of the subtle objects. Light or sound or vibration or smell or taste. So with this, when you meditate and enter into Samadhi, become one, then you will have Savichara. In Kriya Yoga, we take breath. That is another logic. That is not, I am not discussing here. I am discussing the process. So in the process, with the Savichara Samadhi, I say that I have become the Savichara Samadhi, one object, then it is finished. Only that object is done. No, still there are three things in our mind. That is the object, time and space. Still in our mind, we are holding the time consciousness and the space consciousness. When time and space is finished, means mind goes beyond the time and space consciousness. Only with the subject, the subtle object, then becomes the Nirvichara. That is really a higher state of the fourth one. After the fourth one, automatically that subtle object, whether it was a light or sound or vibration, that will, what will remain? Ananda, bliss. So you are in bliss Samadhi. But still, it is not the final one. People may think it is the final one. It is not the final one. Because what is the bliss? The bliss is coming from your own self. That is the consciousness. And since you are knowing that bliss, means you are an enjoyer of that bliss, means your subtle ego is still existing. Then, on the sixth Samadhi, you come to the Asmita Samadhi. There you understand the play of your mind. That means how your intellect principle is finding identity. Means creating an ego principle. Your real self is consciousness, but instead of finding your unity with the consciousness, you are finding your unity with the intellect, giving rise to the ego. That process you understand there. That is why it is called Asmita. That means almost you are close to your goal. Then the next process is Asampragyata, the final Samadhi. Means you are one, you are the consciousness. There is no separate identity. There is not a separate enjoyer. There is not a separate knower. When you return from that state, you return that knowledge. That you are the consciousness. So in this way, one will go to the final state. Actually, at the fourth state, thoughts are gone. Even if complete thoughts are gone, but still then you are not the final state. Still a subtle identity is existing. either in form of enjoyer of bliss or a subtle ego. So that is why the first process is dharana. Hold to something. Hold your mind to something. Then, if you continue, it is a follow-up process. It is a follow-up. It will happen automatically, one after another, one after another, one after another. Only you have to consistently work till you cross the fourth state. After fourth state, you don't have to work. It will happen.
Okay, thank you very much, Swamiji. Let us complete our video for today. So I appreciate, thank you for your wisdom and answers. So namaste, see you next time.
ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवहं तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्